Welcome. We would be talking about the Yojana edition May 2022, and here we would discuss on social security issues. So the first thing was related water mission. So the National Water Mission has a tagline: "Catch the rain where it falls when it falls." So the idea is to build check dams to have rainwater harvesting, the rooftop rainwater harvesting, remove any obstruction, increase the capacity, increase the storage. If we look onto the statistics, India receives thrice the amount of rain than its average consumption. So if it is properly harvested, it can definitely give us good returns. And then similar to food security, water security is another essential goal that should be met. The next is we should also focus on encouraging the reuse and recycling of water. For example, from an RO plant, the remaining water that drains could be used for secondary cleaning purpose. Similarly, the extra water which can be seen from the discharge of the laundry activities could be utilized for tertiary activities, and those are some of the ways through which reuse and recycling can be done. The next is social security. Now definitely what we focus on is equitable distribution of resources, bringing or uplifting the marginalized people, safeguarding the interest of the people, and focusing on 5 pillars. What are those? Economy, infrastructure, system, democracy, and demand. Now there have been various schemes, for example Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Yojana, Suraksha Bima Yojana, Arogya Yojana, Digital Saksharta Abhiyan, which is one of the largest literacy program providing education to 6 crore households. So those are some of the schemes which have been released which focus specifically on social security. We'll be covering these one by one as we proceed, and then definitely bringing in innovation in the society. The next is how do we empower the Divyangjan. Now addressing the people with disability, the idea is to change the social attitude of the community towards them. Before 2012, the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment through Disability Bureau was handling the issues of people with disabilities. India is also party to UN Convention on the Rights for Persons with Disability, and this brings in an idea to have domestic laws. So India's Right to Person with Disability Act was brought in 2016, which came into force in 2017. Now this law focuses on inclusive growth, people with disability, protecting them from cruelty, accessibility to vote, legal capacity, skill development, and employment, increasing the reservation from 3% to 5% with people having disability of 40% or more, and then providing reservation in government or government aided to be increased from 3% to 4%. Of the 15,700 vacancies, 14,000 have been filled with people with disability, and these are the total vacancies for persons with disability. So a substantial amount has been filled. Then creation of a unique disability identity card project. This has been launched in 2015-16. The first was provided in the Datia district in Madhya Pradesh in 2017. So far 70 lakh such cards have been issued. In 2015, another campaign was started, which was Accessible India campaign, to build in good environment, accessible environment, transport, and ITC ecosystem. Nearly 700 railway stations of A1, A and B categories are now accessible. Some buses have been fully accessible, the others have been partly accessible. Sugamya Bharat app for crowdsourcing the problems related to accessibility have been released. Also, we have launched 24/7 toll-free mental health rehabilitation helpline for guiding people with mental illness. 14 intervention centers have been established. The list of the places have been given here. Now here, the cases could be screened, therapeutic services, speech therapy, occupational therapy, physiotherapy could be provided, scholarships could be provided for pre-metric, post-metric, higher class education, MPhil and PhD courses. Government has also set up Indian Sign Language Research and Training Institute in Delhi. The idea is to promote the sign language. 10,000 sign expressions have been developed. Also NCERT books 1 to 12 would now be developed in Indian Sign Language. Indian Institute of Mental Health Rehabilitation has been established established, and that's in Sihor, Madhya Pradesh. There is another center for disability sports established at Gwalior. In the Paralympics, India has won 19 medals, of which 5 were gold in Tokyo 2020. A new platform, Divyesh Kala Shakti, has been created to explain the potentials of persons with disability. And also, the relief to disability is a state subject by the virtue of entry 9 of the state list. However, central government has been constantly supporting it. Also, there have been development of assistive devices, transfer of technology agreement by Artificial Limb Manufacturing Corporation with Ottobock of Germany to produce prosthesis with motivation of UK to for the product of rough terrain and active folding wheelchair to reduce the cost for cochlear implants. Those are some of the efforts. The next is holistic healthcare. 80% of the world population uses some form of traditional medicine. That's really interesting to note. It could be Unani, Yoga, Naturopathy, Siddha, Soga, Ripa, Homeopathy. Traditional medicines are acceptable, safe, and economically feasible. Holistic, patient-centered, and individualized approach has been given, and there have been partnerships with lifestyle advices. Holism means whole, and this is a Greek word which comes from holos. So the idea is to have a holistic development of mental, physical, social, intellectual, and emotional well-being. Ayurveda defines swasthya as what? It is one's natural state of inner harmony, which focuses on prevention, diet, mental health, yoga abhyas, and systemic immunity. National Ayush Mission is a part of it. It's cost effective. It has universal access, holistic wellness model. Integrated Ayush cancer care facilities have been established at National Cancer Institute, Jhajjar, and in collaboration with London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, a study on ashwagandha, which is Withnia somnifera, has been done. For economic growth, we are focusing on severe hazards which are caused by climate change, heat waves, droughts, floods, bringing zero net emissions for greenhouse gases by 2050, critical temperature of 1.5 degrees Celsius to arrive a decade earlier than the IPCC has predicted 3 years ago. It predicted that Southeast Asia is one of the planet's most vulnerable to climate change. The sea levels are rising fast than before, the shorelines have been retreating, and nearly 450 million people reside in the coastal areas. They would witness the impact by tectonic shift, consequences of groundwater removal, and millions of dollars would be invested to refurbish the cities which are damaged. In 1990, South Asia emissions increased by 3.3 every year. Due to the string reliance on coal, we have seen that India is the world's 7th largest greenhouse emitter, despite the per capita emission is the lowest than other developing countries worldwide. Now, coming on to how India is tackling the climate change, some initiatives are the Jawaharlal Nehru Solar Mission. Then we also have the mission for the mission which talks about sustainable habitat, National Water Mission, the mission for sustainable agriculture, for Himalayan ecosystem, Green India, strategic knowledge for climate change. These are some of the missions that have been explained. Clean Energy and Adaptation Fund. The idea is to lower the carbon intensity, bring in more energy efficiency. South Asia is one of the least urbanized regions with 28% population in urban area. The growth rate of 2.5% has surpassed the regional and the global average. The coastal area with 10 meters or less above sea level are home to 14% metropolitan population, around 400 million population. The Climate Vulnerability Index says that Assam, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Bihar are highly vulnerable to extreme events like cyclone, drought, and floods. 80% population live in the districts which are vulnerable to hydrometeorological disasters. Only 63 districts have a district disaster management plan. Again, important to note, developed nations must reclaim the trust by delivering $100 billion as promised. India is collaborating with other countries to have Global Resilience Reserve Fund for climate insurance. Various financial institutions have been coming along, and Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero has pledged to have a portfolio of net zero by 2030. Sustainable Transport Initiative has been encouraged for low carbon safe public transport network work, and developing inclusive, clean, energy efficient transport networks, merging climate finance and technology under sustainable fintech. So three elements: climate, finance and technology brought under sustainable fintech, digital innovations, applications and platforms to safeguard, spend and invest in environmental friendly ways. The Global Climate Energy Index published by the agency says that India is among the top most vulnerable nations in terms of climate risk. So we need to ensure renewable energy goals, emission intensive industries must be decarbonized, and we also require carbon sinks, which could be forests, wetlands or oceans. If we talk about children, safeguarding the children and their rights is important. We have nearly 158 million children up to 6 years and 472 million up to 18 years, which is 39% of the total population of India. 30 million people are orphaned, of which only 4.7 lakh are under institutional care. Now, those under institutional care, of that, only 40 children with disabilities are adopted every year, which is just 1% of the 4,000 children who are adopted every year. So the percentage and the rate of adoption in India is extremely low. The children who fall prey to unregistered institutions are vulnerable to poor care, physical violence, sexual abuse or trafficking. Again, there has been various institutions which have been organized. For example, Center Adoption Resource Authority, which is an autonomous body under Ministry of Women and Child Development of Government of India, is a centralized digital database for adopting children and prospective parents. It allows individuals with live-in relations to have or adopt children within or outside India under 2018 law. Also, we are also practicing the adoption practices under the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, HAMA, and the Juvenile Justice Act. Also, there can be a guardian who can be a non-Hindu, and the guardianship is terminated once the ward turns 21 years or assumes individual identity. So some of the resources are the Central Adoption Resource Authority, CARA. Similarly, we have at the state level, which is the state adoption, specialized adoption agencies which are under subsection 4 of section 41 of the Act for the purpose of placing children under adoption, authorized foreign adoption agencies which are a foreign social and child welfare agencies for adoption. Then we also have District Child Protection Unit, which is set up under the state government under 61A of the Act. The financial norms under the Child Protection Services have been revised since 2014. The maintenance schemes in the for children in home have changed from 750 to 2,000 per child per month, and there are various notifications. For example, maintenance grant for the children in homes have been increased to rupees 2,000 per child per month. Allowance for Child Welfare Committee and Juvenile Justice Board members have increased from 1,000 to 1,500. There has been a Childline India Foundation which has increased the allocation to 9.7 crore to focus on protection needs and expansion purpose. Three important missions for children are Mission Vatsalya for happy and healthy childhood, supportive ecosystem, Mission Poshan for nutritional support, adolescent girls, pregnant females and lactating mothers, Mission Shakti for life-centric support system to women. It has two sub-schemes, Sambal and Samarthya. Sambal focuses on one-stop solutions, women helpline, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Nari Adalat. Samarthya talks about empowerment, so building hostels under Ujjwala, Swadhyay Greh, working women hostel, national creche scheme for children of working mothers, Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandan Yojana. Also, PM Cares for Children scheme was launched in May 21 to support children who lost both their parents, legal guardians, adoptive parents or surviving parents due to COVID, and to provide them comprehensive cover. For the farmers, 86% of the farmers are either marginal or small. Marginal means with a land of less than 1 acre, small means 1 to 2 hectare land, and less than 1 hectare and 1 to 2 hectare land, and they together own only 47% of the crop area. Small farmers earn only 39% of what medium farmers and only 13% of what large farmers do. 50% of the agricultural households are in debt or debt equivalent to 60% annual income. ILO says what is social security is to provide assistance to underprivileged or disadvantaged group for healthcare guarantee income. Manrega, which is a 100 days guarantee program, has been renamed from NEGRA, which is the National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, to Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Guarantee Employment Scheme. This 100 days could additionally have 50 days in the case of natural calamity or drought in a notified rural area. Then we have Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, which is social security to reduce poverty, to enable households to have self-employment and wage employment, to elevate rural poverty, empowering women for systematic investments to have sustainable and diversified livelihood, 58,000 Krishi Sakhis and resource persons to be developed, Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana for for procuring the inputs for health of the crop and yield for 6,000 per year, Kisan Mandhan Yojana, which is social security net for small and marginal farmers, to be 3,000 per month till 60 years. The entry is 18 to 40 years. Fasal Bima Yojana, social security for losses due to distress or natural calamity to the farmers. Then in Maharashtra, similarly, we have Gopinath Munde Farmer Accident Insurance Scheme since 2015. In Gujarat, we have another farmer accidental insurance scheme since 1996. So those are some of the schemes that have been released. The next is digital service delivery. ICT, information and communication technology, makes things inclusive, affordable, transformative and accessible with cost effective. So 7 of the 10 fastest growing states have internet subscribers which have increased, but the per capita GDP is lower than the national average between the last 5 years. UP has added 36 million new internet subscriptions, which is 12% of the total one. In 2022, the UPI transactions have been 5.04 billion, amounting to rupees 8.8 trillion. Grameen Digital Shiksha Abhiyan in 2017, the idea is to promote digital literacy for 6 crore households. Then we have transferred nearly 36,600 crores through direct benefit transfer by public financial management systems PFMS to the beneficiaries. Jam Trinity, which is Jandhan for financial inclusion, mobile and Aadhaar being linked together. Commercial banks under Amrit Mahotsav had talked about establishing 75 digital banking units in 75 districts in India. We would have remote consultations under eSanjeevani, digital life certificates, which is Jeevan Praman, biometric enabled digital services, Umang app, which is all-in-one single unified multi-channel, multilingual, multi-service mobile app. In 3 years, it has 2.5 crore registered users. Mera Ration, eNaam and Damini Lightning Alerts are some of its main ones. So Mera Ration helps you to find out the nearest fair price shop. eNaam talks about where the mandi is nearest to you. DigiLocker, another way where digital copies of Aadhaar card, marriage certificate, driving license, passport issuance or educational qualifications could be uploaded. Kisan drones have been released for agriculture. Desh Stack is a e-portal for skilling and livelihood, which provides API-based skill credential, payment and discovery layers. Then for the oceans, we have Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. 20,000 crores have been invested in 5 years. 3,000 per fisherer would be given by the government and 1,500 would be contributed by the beneficiary for 3 months during the period of fish ban or lean periods. And then 5 lakhs would be covered for accident or permanent disability. Permanent total disability, 2.5 lakhs for permanent partial disability and 25,000 for hospitalization expense in case of accidents. To bridge the gap of accessibility, there are few important things which have been released, which are sustainability and inclusiveness. Sustainability is using resources in such a way that the economic and environmental concerns do not arise. Inclusive means equitable opportunities for all sections of the society. So Atal Innovation Mission, which is AIM under Atal Community Innovation Center, talks about solutions for 2-tier, 3-tier specific underserved 1-tier cities of northeast, hilly areas, aspirational districts, smart cities, tribal areas and rural areas. The scope under the Atal Community Innovation Centers are social innovation for structured modeling and tinkering space, empowerment for commercial ideas, innovation, problem solving approach, cooperation for ITI polytechnics, inclusiveness for financial accessibility. Then we have sustainability for risk management, decentralized facilitation, global innovation index. Together with UNDP, it aims at providing leadership, innovation and social entrepreneurship. Sports has been seen as a good career. In 1983, Kapil Dev won the women won the World Cup, sorry, for the first time under Kapil Dev. India won the World Cup for the first time. BCCI had no funds to facilitate the players, and therefore Lata Mangeshkar had a concert, and the funds were raised through it. Now Kabaddi, the most expensive player in the first league, sold at nearly 12.5 lakh rupees. Today somewhere the person gets from 50 lakh to 1.5 crore. Monetary assistance is provided to national champions, which has been increased to 51 lakhs for high priority traditional sports and general sports. Earlier it was somewhere around 30 lakhs. Allowances have been doubled to rupees 20 lakh per year. Remuneration for sport doctors increased from 1 lakh to 2 lakh. National sport policy in 2001 aims to widen the base of sports and fulfill the objectives. Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award, which is the biggest sport award in India, the first recipient was Grandmaster Vishwanath Anand in 91-92. Arjun Award is the second highest award, instituted in 1961, given to person who has good performance in sports for last 4 years for a cash prize of 15 lakhs. Dronacharya Award in 1985 to coaches who do excellent mentoring for domestic and international levels for last 3 consecutive years. So sports has been seen as another good career. So those were some of the key highlights that we have discussed in this edition. If you have any questions, any queries, feel free to post those in the comment section. We'll be more than happy to address those. Thanks for joining.